And welcome back to Press X for Chromosomes, where we are going to the administration building
to chat some people up.
I have a formal complaint I need to submit. Rhea? Or should I talk to Seth for this? I don't know who's the complaint person.
Probably Seth.
Professor.
Dude, I'm fucking giant.
I know how heavy
We're like a little bit taller than her.
I'm actually taller than Rhea. I thought Rhea was always kind of tall to me.
I thought she was too.
Forgive me my moment of weakness.
Rhea, you are a human. Cry.
I cannot recall that time
She's
without
not really even
feeling
human,
the
but
pain,
I was like, eesh.
as if it were brand new. Just know that I am
I
praying for you.
I always feel like her hair is just caught in her armor.
It really,
yeah. This is side stance, and I was like, that would bug the fuck out of me, dude.
Right? Like, flip your hair out.
Flip it out, girl.
There was someone who was... I think it was our murder mystery makeup gal that we watch, where she was like talking about someone who... headscarf that was dyed.
I think it's Manuela's, but
that would make more sense.
I think it's Manuela's. Oh, that's fucking flame. Hey, is this a letter to you? Yours?
This is not mine.
But she was talking about like a murder that happened where people were like, "Oh my god, was it a murder or was it a suicide?" And she was like talking about like how like the lady had like the noose was around her neck, but the hair was inside the noose.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was like,
and people
no,
typically don't do that.
Yeah, she's
they
like,
always pull their hair out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was like, that's how you know that she was dead before the staging of it, because people typically always flip their hair out.
There's weird human actions that we will always do, even at the like end of a rope.
Yep.
I'm always gonna fucking brush the hair out of my eyes.
I do have a theory.
Bugs me.
Yes, exactly. And so she was just kind of like, guys, pay the fuck attention. Because she was like talking about like the police being like, God, pay attention to the little things.
There was something I had watched somewhere recently. I can't fucking remember. But it was one that I was like, like,
this is my
I was like, I'm not sold on this guy being the bad guy. Like, he doesn't have any fucking...
One of her videos? Or...
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like, if we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, we probably
are. And she kind of comes to the same conclusion, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I was picking up really fast, and this is just from the little bit of fucking forensic science I took in school and stuff like that. But I was like, this is all either A, circumstantial evidence, which you can't fucking build a case on that.
Right.
And
oh boy, they try though.
Well, they try, but fucking obviously it gets typically dismissed because it's circumstantial.
Right. You don't know.
It's hair, for you guys' information, hair is circumstantial.
It is.
You could have fucking
okay, so this.
Hey girl!
Is something hiding just behind that room?
It's a ring. But fucking but now it makes sense that
I have seen it before.
gender roles. I have the ring now to give to people, even though I like. That's my favorite thing with. I think it's Dimitri. If you S rank him, he gives you his ring, and then you give him your ring or whatever, and it's like, I also do have a ring for you.
Oh, that's cute.
Or whatever, and he's like,
ring to
but fucking but yeah, like, hair is not, because someone else, they can tell if it's been dyed and shit, and unless it has the roots, which has the DNA on it,
it's literally all, like you said, circumstantial.
You could find a person with the same fucking hair strand.
Because it's all about your not like your genetics technically, it's about your like, it's your race, because black people have different hair than Asian people, who have different hair than Maori, who have different hair than white people. So it's
what you doing back here, bro? Creeping on the
fucking
armor?
creep.
How about a little logic instead? The knights
How about
have spread
fuck
out
you?
around Garreg Mach in search of Gerald's
I mean,
murders.
at least he fucking
Thus, the
knows his
monastery's
strengths.
fighting
He
strength
does.
And he still tries to reassure you in a different way.
Depleted. Perhaps that was the enemy's real objective.
By giving you information.
They
Right.
should be prepared for further.
But are you talking about the case where the lady was found dead with the pitchfork in her back?
That one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Yep.
That's the one I was like,
No.
there's literally, thank you, because I could not fucking for the life of me remember.
I was definitely like kind of on the husband's side. I was like, this doesn't seem
It makes no
right.
sense.
And that's what she was saying is like, it's too small of an area. You're not going to be able to stab somebody with it.
That and the fucking distance he would have had to leave.
And the sun was gone for like
a few
3
minutes. Yeah, there's
getting water.
And he wasn't out of breath. He wasn't sweaty.
Like you're on a farm.
And then there's like the whole thing of like him like under his breath while he's trying to CPR her or whatever, being like she like cheating bitch, and because she cheated or whatever and stuff like that. And I, there's a whole thing of like, you can say sometimes things like, hey, I think he's saying this under his breath, and you're always gonna hear it. Mm-hmm. You're always literally gonna hear it till someone says something differently. Mm-hmm. And then even then you might not hear it. You're always gonna hear it. But second off, even if he was saying that stuff under his breath, that is still not enough to convict him on.
Exactly.
Fucking, you can still call someone a cheating bitch and still to be trying to save them.
No, exactly.
And like the thing, you're not happy with them, but you're not trying to fucking let them die. And I agree with the fact that he was probably acting out of fucking idiocy, because fucking that's a stressful situation.
Yes.
Your brain doesn't process correctly
doesn't.
in those kind of things.
Like,
and being on a farm and having fucking help 1,000 years away or whatever, I understand his fucking get in the car and we're gonna go to a hospital.
Absolutely same.
Because if you wait,
they're not gonna arrive in time. But if you can meet them halfway,
it's a lose-lose situation kind of.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I get his reasoning to a degree and stuff, and it's a little wonky, but
I get it.
Panic does
see,
crazy fucking things to
people.
Right.
I can absolutely see his panic moments. I can understand that. Yeah, this is panicked. I get that.
Yeah, and I don't remember enough right now about the case, but there's a lot of things that nothing solidify, but like points the finger at him. There's a lot of things that go, oh, that's like.
They definitely
that can see how maybe because of these things. There's a lot of convenient like things, which is like
she was currently having an affair, so obviously he found out about it and wanted to kill her.
You know what they convicted him on? His internet searches, which that's insane. You can also search the internet and not fucking kill someone out of fucking anger.
The fact that they asked him to explain what Pinterest was and he could not because. And he even said other people in the house use the tablets.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's Pinterest? It's in your search history. I have no fucking clue. What is Pinterest?
Yeah.
Like, why would a man? And this is gonna be a little bit like gender like stereotyping. Why would a man be looking at jewelry and wedding dresses?
Well, also that fucking like a farmer in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give a shit about that. But like fucking also the one thing, I'm not trying to pin it on the affairee, the guy, but I like how they were like, well, his fucking phone pinged on a nearby thing for his own house, on nearby thing, and so obviously he was home. What that means nothing. He could have left his phone there.
Exactly. Like,
but then you just went, yeah, okay.
Yeah, phone pings are kind of like you have to take those with a grain of salt, because if they're near the area where the crime occurred, okay, maybe they were there. But if it's where they're at home, but there's still a suspect, don't trust that, because like you said, they could have left it at home. And that's the thing. I hope you'll indulge me with a candid reply, Professor, so I can have good laugh. As a noble, can you name even one thing? I'm like, oh, the official title.
She would fucking hate
Subjects and territory for his.
Okay, well, this is obvious. Thank you for being so blatant on this game, because
no,
yikes, two of those things she fucking hate.
She would fucking cry.
Sure, fuck it, dude. I'm never gonna use you in this one.
Right.
But yeah, no,
that case was all sorts of fucked. Like his defense did him dirty. Like that poor dude.
Yeah, and like in the interim too, because they had to like delay the trial. He fired his defense and got a new. And honestly, good move, because fucking, I'm sorry, you got fucking.
I think his first defense was absolute dog shit too, and the second defense was like, no, please wait, we're trying.
Yeah,
like we gotta save this guy.
It's just fucking like. He doesn't seem like a most likable guy. Like maybe it's not. I'm just not.
I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced.
I'm not either.
It also, they never explained where the fucking pitchfork was.
Right.
And they didn't explain how actually the place was set up.
Right.
There's every possibility she did accidentally, if she was being like dizzy and stuff, there's every possibility this is an accident.
Right. And that was the thing, is like when she started off saying that, yeah, no, like the wife was dizzy, and I was just like, oh man, that's gonna be the excuse of like him killing her. Because like going into it, I'm always just like, oh
well,
yeah, they're guilty.
My first
But-
thought was like, was she drugged?
That too, yeah. I was just like, oh man, she's gonna fucking.
Did they try to fucking, did they do any sort of fucking, why Hubert and fucking Felix? What an odd pairing. Wow, the RNG was just like, sure, I guess.
The
The two
RNG was
unlikely people.
Absolutely.
Is it
fuck
Felix?
you, that's why.
Is Felix the one?
Got
Yeah. But like,
It's Freya's birthday. Coincidentally, it's also St. Saros' day.
I am grateful.
oh, I didn't look at fucking, ooh, whatever.
For tea party stuff for her?
No, it supports. I'm burning today.
Well,
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
can't we do it from here though?
You're right. I don't have to burn it.
Ooh.
But yeah, so like I still can't do her, still can't do his,
We can
still
do
can't
Petra's.
do his, but I can do Petra's.
Petra.
Do I have anybody else on my list? Oh, I can do
Hanneman.
Manuela. And
Oh, and then
we
someone
can-
else.
We can skip her because we've seen this
Oh,
one.
we have, because this is where she's like slobbering fucking drunk.
Yeah,
right?
she's like, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And you're like, mm-hmm. And Rhea and Aloise.
And we've seen Aloise
Have we?
because he's like,
Hello, Professor. You're really on the move today.
I'm pretty sure we've
I'm
seen
happy
him.
to help. Tell me, is there anything I can do to lighten?
I think we have. I'm going to say we have. I think we have.
I'm pretty sure we have. Whether or not I can remember the contents of it is another fucking story.
Yeah. I'll do Petra. But yeah, not to turn this entire like
No.
murder podcast
I mean, I
or
kind of
whatever.
steered it towards
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
so
But
that's
yeah,
on
no,
me.
But like, no, yeah, like I'm genuinely not convinced about
Mm-mm.
that story. Like, it doesn't. It did not follow the rules of how trials normally go.
Right.
And they just didn't look into evidence, and
Right.
a lot of their evidence was flimsy as hell. Like, there was literally no physical evidence. And so it's just like, I don't know what happened, but also like they didn't ever do did they not do a test on her blood work and stuff like that? Like
Right.
autopsy,
Right.
to see if she was drugged?
Yeah.
What is happening in this fucking, there's nothing is going through like it should.
Right.
But granted, also, I might not have all the information, but
Right. it may not all be released to public.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like, actually, what the fuck? This makes
Right.
no sense, and he should have not been convicted
No.
on any of this, because it makes no house arrest at least, but fucking it makes no sense, and he's not maybe the most savory individual, but that doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Exactly.
Like,
And the whole thing about talking about it under his breath. There's another YouTube that I watch, and he's like, I didn't sub this call on purpose because there's contesting points on what's being said, and he's like, I want you guys
to hear it.
to post down below what you hear.
Because the defense, when they first came out with the fucking he's cheating under his breath or whatever, the defense came back and was like, he's saying so cold, she's so cold, which does line up with what he says on the phone to the 911 when he was like, she's cold or whatever, and it does line up with that, but also unfortunately I had this other thing in my head, and that's all I'm hearing.
Right. It's just it's like that. What do you hear Janine or do you hear Carol?
Yeah.
It's that thing. It's two completely different words.
And I have to I can typically hear both,
right.
but I have to adjust my brain to fucking listen for the other version.
Right.
But and so it's the same shit. It's
Right.
it's just, there's nothing in that trial. Well, like I said, I can't actually say, but there's not
Yeah.
a lot, at least that's been released to the public.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have been convicted.
No, he shouldn't have.
But okay, cool. Sure, just convict. And what
Just blame
she
the
said,
husband.
what she fucking said is a fucking very real concern of mine. Can you convict people just on their internet searches? Because I have some fucked up internet searches I
Yup.
did just for research.
Yep.
Cool. And
Great.
Google fucking remembers everything. So it's
Yeah.
that's neat. I love it.
Even if you tell Google to nuke your fucking searches,
They remember.
they still have it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
lost time while I was training.
I nuked my searches.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
I mean, I nuke my searches every once in a while, and then I'm like, I don't care. I'm not slimy.
That's the thing. I don't care.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, whoa, what? And then they're gonna be like, oh, and then 2 seconds later, she looked for fucking penis music, which is like
I was actually, I was just
It's
gonna
like,
say
no.
like they're gonna be like, okay, so you've got some interesting tastes, you know, for porn, but other than that, you're a fairly interesting, you're a
I
fairly
need to have
dull
more
person.
trees.
And I'll
Yeah.
be like, yes, I am.
There are
Thank you
things
very
that
much.
like
done
if she
yet.
looked at this pair of shoes again
Things
for
that
the
have to be
30th time on mine.
For the future.
For me, they're gonna be like, why do you keep looking up degrees of murder and arson shit, and just be, and then I'll just like
Socializing.
slowly slide over like one of my books and just be like, that's why.
And
Well, it's like sometimes I have looked up like murder
worry I
pictures
will never
and stuff
be
like that. Or in
doing
Oh
cases and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And it's just because I'm morbidly curious.
Right.
Like I know I'm not gonna kill someone or whatever, but like I kind of want to see it. Like,
Right.
'cause
Like there's,
fucking, I
like you
hate,
said,
I
there's-
hate that humans have that morbid curiosity.
Right.
I kind of want to see it, and then I will never forget. It'll be burned in my mind
Mhm.
forever.
there was
Why?
That nightclub that fucking
Because
burned down.
Yeah.
Hear the people screaming.
there was a
Bowman
case
and
that my
Dagda are
podcast
big.
talked about. It was the
Bridget.
Hello Kitty murder.
Is a
I don't
small
think I've heard
island
that.
in the
And
middle of
it's
that.
basically
It's adorable.
Bridget has great beauty.
It's horrible.
I know.
Because-
it's like the one I watched recently from the same
Not
same gal?
survive.
same person we watched.
Yeah.
Yes.
More strength.
Which was like
I
the
believe
Ken and
in
Barbie killer.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah. They
was like-
sound wonderful, but
Yeah, I know. It's like
like
terrible.
during the whole lead up to like where she gets to the point where they named them the Ken and Barbie killer, I was like,
And the fact
I was,
that
like,
it's
listening-
the U.S. that named them that, like,
Yeah,
it wasn't
I was
even
like, of
fucking
course.
Canada. I was like,
but
oh yes, I love her fucking naming technique
Yeah,
too.
right?
It's my fucking favorite.
I was listening to it and I was like, this really sounds like the Scarborough, you know,
That is why I have to get
rapist.
my
And I was
best
like, this
I
really
am an
sounds like
ally.
him.
And
And then
it
she
is.
was like, yeah, and then she's like, it was a Scarborough rapist. I was like, oh, that's why it sounds familiar. And then it goes on to like the fucked up shit that he did with his wife, and I was like, oh yes, I do remember
I
this
can't
case.
believe that
I
she was
forgot
just,
about
like-
it.
But you should know that
I
one of
do
these
kind of
days
think a
will be
little
when I
bit.
return
It's
to
like
Bridget.
minorly maybe
Before that
battered
day,
wife, but then she fucking leaned
do
into
not
it
try
way too
stalking
hard.
me.
Like it might
She
started
did.
that way, but it did not end that way.
No, she's definitely got some
She's
screws
twisted,
loose.
too.
Yeah.
fucking like,
Over me.
how did she not fucking? I don't know. There's a
It's-
lot of things about the case that I was like, hard yikes, dude. Like
Yes.
that's no wonder she gave that kind of
Holy
fucking disclaimer at the beginning. That was
yeah.
like, it kind of just involves everything terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, it sure does.
Yeah, it's like the thing of like, well, you say it's terrible, but is it really terrible? And then you're like, oh fuck, yeah, it is really terrible.
Look at her.
Just so many.
Look at her.
Oh
I
my
bet you the
God.
second I fucking get green hair, she's gonna be like, unlock
Time
all
for
that shit.
fucking talking.
You want to hang out with Linhart, I guess?
see how this goes.
I can't believe it. How can I show my face to Lady Edelgard after
What's going? I don't remember the first part.
I
If you
think
rested like me, you wouldn't collapse from
I
exhaustion.
think Huber got on Linhart's case because Linhart's still sleepy boy.
You're right. But to be
You gotta
looked
take care of
after
your human needs sometimes, bro.
by you of all people. That might be the worst part of this.
Y'all got
I
her
don't
skill
know how to
sets.
feel
I feel like Linhart wouldn't even
Right.
take that fucking like
He-
angrily.
I don't think he would either.
She'd be like, eh.
Oh, come now. Even I wouldn't abandon someone who collapsed.
I'd be tempted
You
to,
would have
but
a
I wouldn't.
heartbeat if anyone else had been around.
Ah, yes.
I'm just
quite
remembering our
accurate,
last
Hubert.
D&D session where our
Why would
fucking
I ever
necromancer
bother
just
to be a
walked
decent
an old man to
person
death.
if
I was
there
like,
were
ah, you
anyone else I
collapsed,
could
whatever, I'll
force
just
the
leave you.
duty upon?
And Linhart's just like
Your
polar
situation
opposite of
would
that.
have been an absolute hassle. I could never just leave you there.
If that were the sort of man you truly were, we could never be friends.
But if we weren't
Wait, is the
friends, I
necromancer
probably
part of your
would've just
party?
left you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that changes things. I thought it was just an NPC.
He's our part of our party.
Yeah, you just got a fucking murderer, dude.
Our whole party may be killed by the DM.
Apply that knowledge of yours
we'll
Had it
to
coming.
the
No, I'm kidding.
He does.
Yeah.
You'd be a tremendous
Hey,
asset
to
to
Geneva
the
war
Empire.
crime to fucking
you
make
go
us
again.
pay for his
I
crimes
see
too
no
when we haven't done anything. We're not accomplices, or are we? Because we know.
Think of it this way.
Technically, we don't really know. We
20% of the
know he did something, but he did it
Everyone,
on his own.
everyone's just fucking like side eyeing him on the table or whatever.
what's
But like my
happening.
character doesn't know. But fuck, you're like doing the like pointing at his eyes with your two fingers back and forth. I see you.
That is absolutely basically what the party is right now. Just being like, mm-hmm.
But even if it is, it's just a fancy way to say you let others do all the work. Consider me unconvinced.
You saved me, but I'm still gonna be a dick about it.
It's Huber for you.
Yep.
I mean it. Take a break now and then. If you both collapsed, I think it'd be too much effort for me to bother with. Get some rest, Hubert. Not as much as me, of course.
But you also don't have sleepy bitch disease like I do. It's
Right.
unfortunately related to my goddamn blood crust.
Oh man.
Fucking Violet over here is gonna get neck pain from fucking standing like that too long. But I think this is a good place to stop. So catch you guys on the next episode when we go through the rest of the ones we can go through.
Yay.
And then play the game some more maybe.
Yeah.
If there's more time for that. So
We'll see.
yeah, we will see. So until next time.
Bye.